Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran and Blizzard dropped on us a bunch of new updates for upcoming stuff for World of Warcraft. In this video I want to cover everything that is coming out that is new to make sure that you guys are clued in, and then give you guys some of my personal opinions on the stuff coming out, my own thoughts, concerns, and if I'm excited about any of these things. Anyway, let's get onto the video. The first part is more war campaign story. I actually thought the war campaign story is an interesting take as it has a position from Alliance and a Horde. We'll see how this type of feature will go. Of course, we'll also have new world quests, more story for our boy Saurfang, and incursions. Incursions will be similar to Legion Invasion, so I'm thinking maybe some really good catch-up content for my alts. Also, Blizzard wasn't shying away from the idea of more heritage armor. We already know something about Night Elves and their heritage armor pieces that we were able to see before Battle for Azeroth in the attack on the tree in the pre-patch. Now, in similar fashion, Blizzard is coming out of woodworks to let us know the Dwarves and Blood Elves will have heritage armor available very, very soon. I'm actually very excited what the Blood Elves are going to look like. I'm hoping it'll be very similar to the Guard attire, as it will be awesome to run around with maybe a shield as an offhand and a staff in main hand, being able to execute all of my rogue abilities as a Blood Elf dressed in royal reds. Although the picture looks absolutely amazing, makes me think of Magni Bronzebeard, and oh, does it give me some good old Warcraft 3 vibes. It's looking so good for a race such as Dwarfs, which I don't see them as the most popular guys. Really, most of the shorter races are not seen as the most popular guys, but I think giving them some love is going to be especially awesome. Would love to see what gnomes would look like and goblins as well, as I feel like those guys, again, not as popular as some of the other races in the game, like Blood Elves, for example, but it would be amazing to see what they could have for them for heritage armor. Outside of that, we have a few more story stuff available, like some racial scars to explore. I'm thinking in regards to Night Elves and the Tree. Speaking about Night Elves and the Tree, we also got a brand new warfront, Darkshore, where the Elves and Forsaken are going to be butting heads and fighting. And Darkshore, if you guys don't remember, is the place where we went to take down the tree. So it'll be interesting to see how the whole zone is going to be shaped, and it's interesting to have Night Elves versus the undead, or primarily an undead force fighting each other. So I'm thinking it's going to be very interesting combinations of nature magic and the plague, and I'm actually very excited to see some of the themes of it. Alright, on to some of the bigger content updates. We have more island expeditions and general island improvements. We have a brand new raid called Siege of Zuldazar, but the name is kind of in the works. It's a faction-based raid with 9 bosses total, but first you'll get to see your side of the faction. So it's going to have a Horde side of this raid and an Alliance side, and for Alliance we'll be confronting Jaina on the docks of Zuldazar, and for Alliance they'll be going to the King Rastakhan. And this is part of where the game is going to try to put together Alliance and Kulturans more hand in hand, but also it's going to show that the Horde and the Zandalari need each other, so it's going to bring those allied races closer to the respective factions. Now, the way Blizzard explained how this whole raid is going to work, where you have one faction sees one half of the raid, and the other faction sees the other. Of course, you're talking about balancing, but I think it's a very interesting idea. Overall, 9 bosses, and after you finish your faction's experience, you'll have the opportunity to play through the other faction. So it's not like the whole of the content is locked for you, but I think it could have potential to where maybe the Horde side of the raid is harder and the Alliance is much easier, allowing Alliance to get through their bosses and start doing Horde content ASAP. So I feel depending on the balancing in the fights, one side could have generally more fun experience, or maybe even easier experience, and they can get through their content, get fat pieces of loot, and go on to the other half. So I'm thinking hopefully Blizzard is able to kind of try to balance this idea, but I like it overall. I think it offers opportunity, it offers potential for all the things in the world to go bad and people to be unhappy about, but I do think it's very interesting to the storytelling aspect. To include the raids, kind of like together with the war campaign, how the Horde and Alliance see different sides of the same coin, and how you have the raid experiences are going to be slightly different, but yet none of the content is essentially locked out to the players. You just gotta have the first go in the first side of the raid, and you get access to the second, and I'm pretty sure they'll unlock those kind of restrictions at a later time. Then there is another raid that is going to be talked about at a later time, but so far they said it's going to be called Crucible of Storms, a short 2-boss raid, and this one won't have any kind of faction lockouts or anything like that. Both factions will have availability for this one, and it has to do in the Stormsong Valley with the storm cults, and I'm very interested because this is obviously going to be one of those things that will lead us towards the Naga and towards the old gods, at least from what I can see from the picture. But I think it's definitely something sinister going on there. And I'm actually kind of excited that we'll have a small 2-boss raid. It'll be kind of cool with a new raid, the Siege of Zuldazar, name in progress kind of deal, to be able to, let's say, get those bosses done on Mythic. And let's say you hit into a wall and this boss just doesn't die. The mechanics are hard to get. Maybe we don't have enough gear. I think it'd be awesome to change the pace and the scenery and the fights to go into something like Crucible and Storms. Try to see if we can get those bosses done, and after maybe we knock out one boss there, go back to Siege of Zuldazar, name in progress, and see if we can maybe, you know, kind of mix it up a little bit, maybe, you know, change the pace a bit. I think it'll be awesome to add something like this in the game. Very happy that they are going to have a small boss raid. Some of the other things added to the game at a later time are going to be general improvements, like Champions of Azeroth reputation needs to be only unlocked in one character to be account wide. So if you get exalted, I guess, on one character, all your other characters get exalted. That means I have access to 355 piece of gear for Azerite, which is almost like a need if you're trying to push any damage in raids right now. And your necklace is of course going to get a lot beefier, so that's going to be a great catch-up mechanism. Also, progress on other exalted rep is going to be account wide. I'm actually wondering how that's going to work faction by faction, because let's say I have a faction on the Horde called Voldenai, and if I get them to Exalted, if I make a character at 120 on Alliance, is there going to be a Voldenai equivalent on Alliance, or is that Voldenai just locked only to the Horde characters? So I might as well just make a bunch of alts on a Horde rather than mix it up between Horde and Alliance, even though I really want to get some Darker and Dwarves up and running. Also, we'll have a lot more class updates, which of course I'll be covering on this channel. So feel free to subscribe to the channel right now and hit the notification bell if you guys want to see any of the upcoming changes, probably some 8.1 stuff way in the future of BFA. You also got new Azerite traits to be added, and I think it's a good idea to add more, as that is basically the bread and butter of the current content we have right now for Battle for Azeroth. And of course, there's a lot more stuff like pet battles, professions, and I have a link for that stuff for you guys to read if you are interested on those kind of details. Overall, very excited that there's updates, and I've been waiting for a while to find out if there's going to be any more patches, updates for maybe like 8.1. Blizzard didn't outright say that this is going to be 8.1, at least not what I was able to see from the live stream or anything that I can remember from the live stream. It doesn't look this is exactly 8.1, but I guess this will be, some of this part will be within 8.1. Like new warfront, for example, I could see it being one of the major patch content updates for the future of the game, in major patch type of update, not just a sporadic, hey, it's a Tuesday 28th, so here's a brand new warfront. Overall, very excited to see more stuff coming out. I really am excited to see some class updates and Azerite traits updates in the game. I really want to see if I can review those. I'm excited to jump in with my guild into the brand new raids. I'm actually very interested to see how that's gonna go. I really want to get a dwarf now and make sure I get a blood off at 120 to get some heritage armor for the bells. I'm very interested in all this stuff that's coming out very soon, and I'm interested to know about the story as well as incursions, for kind of like equivalent for what we said earlier as Legion invasions. I wonder if that'll be a good system for catch-up mechanisms, because I do have a hunter and a death knight right now. I do spend a lot of time on my rogue, but I am interested in getting more alts up and running. So if that is going to be an efficient system, I might just drop, let's say, a lot of the stuff that I'm building into my rogue, maybe once I get like insane amounts of gear, and just find some free time to level some characters like my Makha orc, my priest, my shaman, and maybe even a warrior. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on the updates in the comments below. All the links should be available down below if I remember to put them down there. It's been a long couple days, so do let me know in the comments or hit me up on Discord. Links for Discord down below as well. If you guys have any more questions, concerns, Discord is the best place to reach me. Join our Discord community. And again, if you want to see more updates for any classes and Azerite traits in the future, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll be there to cover it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see all of you guys in another video.